concept of the show. The idea that the show dealt with a new world, a throwback to the old world, a world that's completely without power, a world where people have to rediscover who they are. And that was the most intriguing factor, that we were in a world 15 years after a blackout without any technology, which had to forced us to rely on our own resources as human beings. We had to rely on things that we'd forgotten and remember how to live again. That was one thing. The other thing that really attracted me to the show was the creative team involved in the show. It was Jon Favreau, which really excited me to work with him as a director. J.J.Abrams, who I think is such an incredible, creative force of nature, and Eric Kripke, who people probably know less about. He had a show on the network called Supernatural, and it's really a very astute and very sharp writer and showrunner. So it was the combination of the creative side and then the talent side of some wonderful actors that they brought to make the show happen.
So, with doing a show like this, you had no technology, where you're relying on all of the resources. Has it brought a new spiritual awareness for you, or is it brought you something in your life
I had to leave for
differently?
Well, I've always been one who thinks that we're overtaxed technologically, that we're overtaxed trying to multitask with all of our gadgetry, and that we don't pay much attention to what's going on around us because we're so connected to being connected. And this show is, the tagline for this show is "Power is Everything," and I really find it to be really interesting. We want more connection, but we look to that connection not through personal eye contact, but through the connection with how we'll communicate. Because we want it faster, we want it now, and we think that technology will help us achieve that. When in actuality, I think there's a faster way than technology, than hitting the button. And that's the power of the mind, and the power of the being, and the power of the spirit, and that's something that we've forgotten. So we have to be pulled back to a simpler time to sort of remember that. To remember that, you can tell if it's going to rain tomorrow if when that moon comes over this building, it has a ring around it. You're going to get rain. It seems very simplistic, but instead we have, gadgetry and meteorology and all these things that tell us that, we're going to get this percentage of rain, and this. You can feel it in your body if you're really connected, but we're not really connected on that level anymore. However, I truly believe that it's only a matter of remembering. Everything you need to know, you already know, somewhere inside you. But it might be a little more difficult to remember because you may have to sit quietly to get in touch with your being first to have that memory come back to you. So the show harkens back to interesting things. A simpler way to live, possibly. A more complete way to live. Why did we had no electricity. You woke up when the sun rose and you went to sleep when the sun went down. Very simple way of life. I don't know. So I'm intrigued by the idea, the message of the return to morality and the return to some new way of connecting in this show. So, you're sitting someplace and you think about your best friend and you've been thinking about her for 2 days and you haven't heard from her, and all of a sudden your phone rings and it's her. Why do you think that happened? We say, oh, it's such a coincidence. That's the word we use. But it's really not a coincidence at all. It's really the way it's supposed to be, because you put a vibration in the universe and that travels quickly, faster than, almost as fast as the speed of light or sound. The universe picks up that and carries it to your friend. And then she thinks of you. Why do you just think of him? And then she picks up the phone and she calls him. That's the real deal. But we call it this thing called coincidence. So this show is going to be a revelation to all of us on many levels. And I'm so proud to be a part of it.